What up, what up, what up? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. Welcome back. Either you're watching a broadcast, a live broadcast, or replay. I want to say welcome. Hopefully, you can hear me loud and clear. I think you should. Welcome back. Over here at myempirepro.com, we'll talk about real estate. That's what we're here to talk about. Real estate. Welcome. All right, just in case you don't know, you can download those books absolutely for free. You can also attend a free masterclass. You also have access to a free software trial to help you find deals, to help you market. Welcome back. Shout out to you. Let me see who is in the chat. Hey, what's going on, Raymond? Shout out to you, Raymond. Thank you for being here, as always. But yes, today we're talking about recession. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit more about the recession. The recession is coming. Okay, that's not a bad news for you. If you're here and if you keep coming back, that's not a bad news. That's what that means is that there's going to be a lot of opportunities, and you need to know how to recognize those opportunities and use them in your advantage. Okay, use them to your advantage, I should say. All right, so do me a favor. If you're stopping by either as a replay, rebroadcast, or live session, please always make sure you hit the like button for the algorithms. I appreciate you for doing that ahead of. Thank you so much. All right. So the first thing I want to dive in through is let's look at some market updates. Let's see what's going on. But before we do that, we're here to talk about real estate as always, wholesaling in particular, and 20K wholesale deals average $15,000 to $25,000. My experience, it can be up to $82,000. That's just my experience. There's no guarantee that you will make a dime. Okay, but if you're of course diligent, there's an extremely good chance that somebody's out there buying and selling real estate, and you can absolutely participate in the market and take advantage of one of the most basic human needs ever: housing, shelter. Okay. For as long as there's human beings here, there will be a need for real estate, and that means people will have demand and supply, and it's just a matter of recognizing what side of the market you fall in and how can you take advantage of it. All right, with that being said, recession, what do we mean by recession? Recession is coming. Okay, recession is coming. It's just what recession means as a significant decline in economic activity that spread across the economy. Okay, but it's usually triggered by something. Okay, right now, recent times, you're hearing a lot of words about commercial real estate. The low demand for office buildings, or people having to go to work, which is a big part of our society up to just a few years ago. Okay, so everyone is talking about recession. Okay, some people say we're already in it. Some people say we're not in it. In fact, there's this article on Forbes. Okay, let's look at this real quick. It says, "Are we in a recession yet?" This is on Forbes. It says, for almost a year now, politicians. Let me show you the screen. Sorry about that. Let me see. Okay, there you go. All right. So there's this article right here on Forbes. Before I get into the actual market update, I wanted to share with you. For almost a year, politicians, economists, and financial professionals have been engaged in a great semantic debate over whether the U.S. economy is headed for recession or not. You need to know what's going on or what people are saying in the marketplace, okay? Not necessarily if it's real that we're in recession or not. You need to understand, for as many people are talking about possible recession, people's emotions, their confidence in spending money in the market in one direction or the other is being tampered with, and that affects the value of the money in your pocket. That affects the value of your business in any particular, climate, right? So we definitely need to pay attention to it. That's why we're talking about it. That's why I want you to, to pay attention to it. All right, so let's keep going here. It says one common definition of recession: 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP, gross domestic product, happened in the first half of 2022. That's why people are still talking about it, right? So two consecutive, right? That's one common definition, and it happened in the first half of 2022. Yet the organization that defines US business cycles, the National Bureau of Economy Research, takes a different view. There's multiple variables, right? That's an understatement, right? There's so much going on that it's not just as simple as two consecutive. Yes, by definition, by dictionary, that's something to definitely be concerned about, right? But obviously, the powers that be, the main stakeholders, at a governmental standpoint, also in the private sector, they have to look at so many other things. They have to look at forecasts. They have to look at how did we get here. They have to look at the fact that we're just coming out of that crazy thing that happened in 2020, right? So there's a lot to it, right? Now, according to the NBER's definition of recession, a significant decline in economic activity that is spread across the economy and that lasts more than a few months. We were not in a recession in 2020 and we still aren't now. Okay. Until recently, the Federal Reserve was determined to raise interest rates. When they raise interest rates, we've been talking about that here, right? Obviously that affects demand, right? But in addition to that, there is a low supply, low inventory, right? And then the spike in interest rates, So this is additional reasons why no one wants to get out of the deal that they locked in the past 4 years, right? Until inflation got much, much lower. The cooling economy plus the implosion of Silicon Valley. They keep talking about Silicon Valley, right? The second largest bank failure in US history has inspired the Fed to starting talking about a pause. Not a pause in rate hikes. So they kind of calm down with that rate hike because obviously that would trigger these banks not being able to pay their bills. To keep tabs on whether an official economy contraction is imminent, we've devised the following recession tracker, which monitors 15 important economic. See, 15 already economic indicators. Can you keep an eye on 15 indicators, right? Once most of the signs point downward, the recession, what is most? Majority. A recession may still using the word may, right? May very well be nigh. All right. So they have some information here. I'm not going to get into that again. You could go check out this article on Forbes. Just type in recession Forbes. It will probably come right up. But I wanted to bring you up to speed that, hey, this is not just about scaring you or anything like that. It's particularly more so about you understanding that fear is a major factor, major motivator in the direction of the market. You have to pay attention to it, okay? When people have more greed or more fear, right? The market in general, if they're bullish or they're bearish, right? I know you only heard about that in stock market, but it's also a part of the conversation when it comes to real estate. Now, what does that have to do with you as a wholesaler, as a real estate wholesaler? Well, you're in between two guys. One person is selling, one person is buying, right? You need to understand what may have motivated people to want to get rid of a property for you. The same factor is the reason why people are a little bit skeptical, fearful, if you will, in terms of picking up properties. Fearful is not necessarily I won't buy. It just means my numbers have to adjust. How much I'm willing to offer for a piece of property has to adjust accordingly. So if you end up locking a property under contract, I will go through the 5 stages of real estate wholesale in a second. If you end up locking a property under a contract at too high, that will reduce your chances of being able to dispose the deal. That means being able to exit the deal. That means being able to collect your profit and keep it moving. Okay? So if that ever happens, it's not a big deal. You can always go back and renegotiate. But you can only do that for so many times, okay, before you start tampering with your own confidence, your personal confidence. Also, tampering with your reputation, because real estate is a small market. It's a very, very small marketplace. Never mind all the people making all the noise. They're making all this money on the internet, all that kind of stuff. It's a significantly, relatively, it's a small marketplace. Words travel far very quickly because it's a small marketplace. Okay, your reputations will travel far. So you don't want a situation where people, sellers, not so much sellers, because typically you're dealing with motivated sellers. If a person is a motivated seller, they tend not to be a motivated seller for another few years, because they obviously got in trouble financially and they got rid of a property. So it's a one-off usually, right? But for your buyers, you will have to deal with same buyers from time to time. And if word start traveling that your deals are too high and your deals are too costly, people won't even entertain talking to you, because they're like, nah, his properties are too high. Or you might say things like he marks up the number too much, right? And the goal here is volume, as much as you can, as many deals as you can close, because the relationships you're creating are much more valuable than the value of one deal. I always talk about the $82,000 deal, but I don't want you to focus on that too much. You want to close a $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 deal as many times as possible, because those relationships that you're creating with those buyers are actually much more valuable than the actual monetary value of the deals, okay, over time. That's something to keep in mind, okay? So let me go to what this, I have this article here on fortune.com that I wanted to review with you on their take on the market right now. And I wanted to dive in through it with you really quickly, and then I'll go through the 5 stages, a quick recap of 5 stages, and then we'll wrap up for the day. Institutional home buyer. This is on Finance Housing on Fortune. Institutional home buyer Yield Street hasn't bought any homes this year. Here's why it refuses to jump into the housing market right now. So, and I quote, heading into 2023, Yield Street told Fortune that the firm had reduced its home buying levels by more than 90%. That is significant. Why would they stop buying, right? As the institutional home buyer awaited steeper declines in home prices. Okay. So this is the time for you to be a little bit more conservative with the offers you're giving on those properties, right? More conservative, right? Obviously, when it comes to looking at the value of these properties, this is the time to start looking at 3 months comparables. You can still look at 6 months, but I would just, if you can find enough comparables within 3 months, they will be a lot more valued than 6 months old or 1 year old comparables. When it comes to what is comparable, you're asking what is comparable. Comparable is basically similar properties to the property that you're assessing. Okay, you want to look at what they're selling for, what they sold for in the last 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, and you want to have a weighted average of those properties. That's why we're looking at similar properties. So you don't want to look at a property that's 2 times the size next to a property. You want to look at similar sizes around the same range, plus or minus 5 to 10% maybe in size, in square footage, right? And then you want to use a tool that will allow you to weight it. Okay. PropStream that you can find at empirebigdata.com allows you to weight that easily. They have a simple tool to do that. You can try it out for free. All right. So basically, the idea is very, very simple. Right now, you want to be conservative. 3 months old, no more than 3 months old, unless you can't find comps within 3 months, which is also a negative indicator. That means properties are not selling right now, right? But then at that point, you can stretch it out a little bit, but you just want to keep a mind note that the property is probably worth less. Okay, something to pay attention to. All right, so they're not buying right now. And another quote here: from December onward, let me see what date this was published. This was published April 20 today, a few hours ago. Okay, from December onward, the expectation from my side is we'll have another 10 to 15% decline in home prices nationally by Tejas Joshi, a director of single family residential at Yield Street. I think this Yield Street is sound like one of those big buyers that I've been talking about. Those people have been coming in the market and buying homes, right? Oh, let's see here. Let's see your streets. Investment. They're probably private hedge funds buying homes, basically. Okay. Which owns over 700 single-family homes, told Fortune back in December we're pretty much on pause across all home buying strategies. That's not good. Okay. Fast forward to April. Okay. Remember, we just saw we're not in recession, but again, these are leading indicators to start paying attention to. When they do come into the market to start buying, they will buy. They will buy in bulk and all that kind of stuff. So, but also when they do get bullish, sometimes it feels overnight, and then they're willing to pay anything for those houses. But at any point in time, I want you to know that there's always an investor in the market buying. Okay, it just has to be the right deal. Okay. Fast forward to April, and many regional housing markets have actually, at least for now, stabilized. Among the nation's 200 largest housing markets tracked by Zillow, 23% of markets, including places like Houston and Reno, posted month-over-month home price declines in April. Meanwhile, 77% of regional markets, including places like Columbus and Miami, posted month-over-month home prices gains in April. So it depends on the market you're in, obviously. All in all, real estate is local. Real estate is always local, okay? So it depends on your particular market. But we just still have to pay attention to what's going on nationally, because it tells you if money is cheap or it's expensive, right? If money is expensive, you can expect that the investors will be a little bit more bearish. Okay. Do signs of life in the US housing market have you street ready to jump back in? So now, if they're backed out, you'll want to be paying attention to when they will decide to jump back in. You know, like Warren Buffett says, you want to pay attention to the flip side of what the market is saying. Okay. If the market is fearful, they're bearish, this is the point you start looking and say, well, this is a good time to come in, right? When the market, everybody's already in, it's probably already too late. Okay. Not for you as a wholesaler in particular, but in terms of what side you're paying attention to, the buyer or the seller. Okay. I don't think house prices are bottom yet. This person does not think. That means they don't know. On average, we have another 5% decline nationally, and it will vary by market. Peak to through, we're expecting 12 to 15% national decline. However, he acknowledges that the over 20% peak through national decline he was expecting last year now appears unlikely. Okay. Pay attention to that last statement right there. Pay attention to that last statement right there. Yes, hedge funds. That's what that was. Yes. Remember, I've been talking about hedge funds. They are still in the market, but you can see they're panicking because, again, they want to make sure that their money, at least in the long term, will come back to them in folds, right? But when they do get bullish, they get very aggressive, and you just want to be positioned already before they decide to jump back in again. You don't want to be trying to come into the market at that time, okay? If they have fear right now, that means they're looking at things 3 years from now. When they do jump back in, they have the money ready to go. If all you've got is time and skills, which is what we talk about here and what we try to give here, then you definitely want to be looking at things that you want to have a little bit more foresight. Okay, that's why we're having this conversation. That's why. Okay. All right. So let me go ahead and just go ahead and bring you up to speed with regards to what we're talking about today, or what we're always talking about here. Real estate wholesaling, the art and the science of finding deeply discounted properties for investors. Not properties per se. Motivated seller. You're looking for motivated sellers. And there are 5 stages to it. So let me bring you up to speed really, really quickly. There are 5 stages. There is stage 1, data. You need access to data. What do I mean by data? You know, like a list of pre-foreclosures, a list of non-owner occupied properties, meaning a property that's not performing, it's not being used, but it's costing someone money. It's costing them at least property taxes, right? You need access to all of that information, okay? And then you need to be able to convert that to contact. Stage 2, convert it to, yes, number 1, contact information, but also market outreach, actually contacting those people. That's stage 2. Stage 3 is actually not something you're directly responsible for. You're indirectly responsible for. It's basically the result of your stage 2. Stage 3 is when people say, yes, I'm interested in the conversation, I'm interested in the offer on my piece of property, because you're offering them that, hey, you open to buying it, are you open to selling your property, right? And they say, yes, I'm interested, I'm open to offers. That interest is what makes it a lead. No interest, no lead. You cannot call it a lead unless there's a generated interest in selling the property. Once it's generated interest, then you negotiate a deal, okay? Right? You negotiate a deal. In this context, you negotiate terms, how much they want to sell it for, what's the terms, how soon they need to close, how fast they need to close, how much do they want for the property, right? And those kind of things. And then once you agree to something, you lock it up under a contract. A contract, okay? So from stage 1 to stage 4, everything you need to do that, you can basically find all of that. There's a free course on the homepage of this channel. There's a free course. It's a 7-part series, teaches you everything you need to know about how to do this. Go watch it, okay? And then it's on the homepage. And if you want a little bit more hands-on training, there's a free masterclass plus 3 free books. You can download my 3 free books for free. Real Estate Money Secrets, Smart Real Estate Wholesaling, okay? And then my newest book, which is Digital Marketing Certified. You can see them on the screen over there. You can download them for free plus a free masterclass. Those are free resources to help you learn how to go from stage 1 to stage 4. Once you know how to generate contract, as I'm showing here, then you go to stage 5. Stage 5 is what we call deal disposition. You can do it on your own. I've never done one on my own. There's no point doing that. I partner with title companies. I partner with attorneys. I partner with other wholesalers, right? A partnership. Stage 5 is all about a network. The stronger your network, the stronger your chances of closing more deals, because it's all about relationships. Those relationships are worth more than any one single deal. I don't care if somebody told you they've closed a deal at $150,000 for one deal. It doesn't matter. Each one of those relationships are worth more than that. And that's why we open ourselves up for you. We want to partner with you. You have any deals that you've locked in a contract, we can handle all of stage 5 in partnership with you. And you can submit your deals to my empirepro.com/submit over there. Okay? So that's what we're about here, just joining forces together and making things happen and just doing deals together. But you need to understand how the market works. Okay, you need to understand demand, supply. You need to understand interest rates. You need to understand leading and lagging indicators. You need to understand institutional money, which is what we talked about today. Institutional money and how they react to the possibility of recession. How they react to a major bank collapsing, right? Second biggest in the history of United States, right? How do they respond to that? They respond with institutional panic, institutional fear, institutional greed. When it kicks in, it's going to kick in, and the people that are already positioned are the ones that are going to be able to take advantage of that. You know, when they say, oh, if you live in New York City, you can live anywhere in the world. If you live in Lagos, Nigeria, you can live anywhere in the world, because those cities right there, it's rough to survive in those cities. If you can survive there, you can basically survive anywhere. If you can survive this business in the middle of quote-unquote recession, which there's no such thing for wholesalers, by the way, okay? If you can survive it, just think about what would happen when everybody just have free money to fling all over the place, right? What do you think the majority of that money is going to be going to? It's going to be going to the people that are already positioned to take advantage of it. Okay, so that's something you should pay attention to. All right. So again, if you need training, we have a free course on the homepage of the channel, and then you can go watch it. And then also we have we have a free masterclass and free books at realestatemoneysecrets.com. And if you already know what you're doing, which is which means we're all close to money, faster, closer to money, right? I'm even happier. You can submit your deals where we want to buy your deals, we want to partner with you to dispose your deals, okay? It just all depends on case by case. We'll assess the deal within 24 business hours. We'll give you an answer and tell you what we want to do with the deal. Buy it, partner with you to get rid of it, but we want to join forces together with you to build our real estate empires together. All right. Hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.